So the first thing I'll be drafting here is to draft my basic block pattern first, so that I will have a pattern to work on. So here I want to measure my armhole, your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. You already know that before. So I'll draft my shoulder, then my armhole, then I'll start marking all the points, all the dots that I'll be needing. My bust point is 9.5 and my under bust is 13 inches. Then the waist is 16 inches. That's your upper waist. It's equivalent to your half length. Yes. Then the top length, I'm making a top. The top length is 22. Then I'll add extra 2 inches allowance for the hem line. So I'm making the dot again so I can have a straight line. That's why I'm marking the dot again at the other side so I can have a straight line. Now I'm connecting the dots to make a straight line. So I'm making a straight line now. So I'll label the lines. This is the bust point, chest line, under bust, waist, top length, and the hem line. So like we always do, I'll first do my armhole. I want to get, my bust is 38. So 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. So I want to make my armhole curve because I'll be doing it before. Then I'll be extending my chest line. Okay, so now to start, the first thing we do normal, you want to do any Corset like or anything, is to measure your breast distance. So my breast distance is 8. That's 4. So 0.5 seam allowance. So I'm going to chop 4.5 down. So when you are done with this, so the next thing you now do is you measure your distance between the breast point and the under bust point. So for me, I have 3.5 from my bust point to under bust. Measuring the distance from bust point to under bust, I have 3.5. So the first thing you now do is I'm going to mark 3.5 round to make a circle. I should recap. The first thing after you've done your breast distance, first thing you now do is, the next thing you will do is to measure the distance between your bust point and your under bust. So now I'm measuring the distance between my under bust and bust point. So I have 3.5. So now I'll mark 3.5 round to make a circle. So is any answer you have that you will use for your circle. I'm starting my midpoint now is on the bust point. So I'm making the circle, the 3.5 from the bust point, from the midpoint of the bust point and the breast distance. So on bust point line or on breast distance line. So that's where my midpoint is. That's where I'm starting the 3.5. Sometimes for big size people, for plump size people, your circle will extend. Most of the time the circle do extend outside your fabric. Yes, your folded part of the fabric. So sometimes it's extend, but don't worry, when it extends, just continue. Draw the one that is within the fabric range or within your paper range, then leave this one. Then you connect your circle. You can use your French comb, you can use your hands. So after making your circle, so the next thing you will now do is on your chest line. This is your center front. The folded part is center front. You remember now. Any folded part is center front. So this is our center front. The folded part of the fabric is center front. So on your
So at the top of your circle, you make a straight line connecting to the center front.
So I made a line where my circle stopped. So at the top of the circle, you measure your 0.75 at the top of the circle. If it's an average big size person, you measure 1 inch, then you mark. So from 0.75 you connect, you now make a curve to the under bust. Make sure your French curve is sitting well. So you make like a U curve to the under bust. But if you are working with a big size person, you raise your under bust by 0.5 inches, by 0.5 inch. Then you connect your curve. You connect your curve like this at the raised under bust for a big size person. Because normally a big size person's curve will be bigger than this and it will be wider than this. So you don't want it to look too big, your bra look to be so big or to be too wide. So that's why you have to raise it by 0.5. You're working for a big person. After doing this, the next thing we now do is you measure 1.5 inches from the bust point line. And you can measure 2 depending on you can measure 2. It depends on how deep the curve will be. The 1.5 measurement or the 2 inches measurement. So starting from the bust point line, you raise it up by 1.5 inches. Yes. And you can use 2. If you don't want your curve to be too deep, you can use 2 inches depending on you. So you can use 2, you can use 1.5. So anyone you feel like using. But let me use 2 because I don't want my pot to be cozy. So when you now mark your 2 inches or your 1.5 inches, you make a straight line like this. So afterwards, we now start taking out our measurements on the breast distance part. So at the under bust, I'll take 1 inch to the side, 1 inch to the side, and 1 inch to the other side. Then same thing on the waistline, 1 inch to the side and 1 inch to the other side. So if it is half length you are working with, you are fine this way. You know, half length to stop at the waist side, so you are fine. But this is a top we are working with, so we need to connect the dance. So from the top length, you come up by 2 inches. Come up by 2 inches. Then you just connect. Just make a diagonal line to the waistline. The way you do it, say yeah, like because this is a top. So here we are done here. So at the upper part of the circle, at the top of the circle, you take 1.5 to the armhole side, then you take 0.5 to the center front side. This will help to snatch the top part, it will make it firm. So your corset will not be opening out at the upper part, so it will make it firm. And because we have more breast at the armhole side, so we are taking more at the armhole side so that the upper part of the corset will be firm, close up firmly. So I'll measure 1.5 to this side and 0.5 to the other side. So the normal thing we do, if it's a bustier, you raise your bust point by 0.5, come up by 0.5 at the bust point line, then come down by 0.5 at the bust point line to avoid bulge when connecting your lines. So don't forget 0.5 to the center front side, 1.5 to the armhole side. So we have this. So the next thing we now do is to connect our curve to the armhole side and to this part. There's another thing you can do from here. You can decide to raise your circle. You don't want your breast to be shown. You can decide to raise it by 1 inch. So you can just decide to raise it by 1 inch, then you connect the curve. Let me make a dot now. Dotted lines. So you can try to raise your circle like this to avoid too much, to avoid the dress revealing too much, and you can leave it like this. So it depends on you, it depends on the clients you are working for. Some clients don't like their breast showing at all, so you have to take the circle curve with it, yes. But we are maintaining this circle line. So I want to take my normal body measurement now. I've not done that before. So my bust is 13, that's 9.5. I'm not putting allowance yet. So I'm just taking my normal waist is 32. So that's it. And for the top neck, I'll be using these measurements. So this is my measurement without having allowance to it. So now the next thing we'll now do is at the bust point here, at the armhole side. We are done with the center front side like this. So at the armhole side now, at the bust point line, I'll come up by 1 inch. I'll come up by 1 inch at the armhole side. So on the bust point line, I'm tapping again. I'll measure 1.5 outside. 1.5. Then I'll come up 1 inch, still on the bust line. This is my 1 inch. This is my 1.5 inches. So now we'll take our French curve again. So make another curve. So don't forget, you want to make a bra shape, and we have different type of. We want to make a bra curve rather, and we have different type of bra curve. We have the U shape, and we have the normal shape. So we are working on something like this. So we must get our perfect curve too, like the bra. Do you understand? You are making a curve to the under bust side. Make sure your curve is sitting well. Another thing to check for when you are making your curve, this place must not be too wide. Under your bust side, it should not be too wide. At the same time, you want to make a curve that is well seated. It can be tricky, but it's very simple. Yeah. This is my curve. So I'll now extend it to the 1 inch I did before. Show you. But we don't want a sharp point like this. So I'll be. Here's a black pen. I want to use black pen so that you will see. So that everything will not just be the same thing. Let me use a black pen to trace it out. So I've used black pen to trace our curve out now. So the next thing I'll now do is I'll just connect my curve to this 1 inch point. But if you don't want your armhole to be so deep, you can connect it to this. If you don't want your armhole to be so deep, you can connect it to this, your initial armhole. Then you just raise it up. You don't want it to be so deep. Just connect like this. Connect like this, then you raise this one up. Then you connect the other curve here to this raised 2 inches point. don't want this, you can connect it to this place. Depending on, sure you understand. So this is our this thing now. This is our corset brand now. So the next thing we now do is, so I said if you want to raise your circle, you can raise it. So from here, if you are raising your circle, you just raise it like this. Sure you understand. So just raise it up this way. Sure you understand. So now the next thing to do is you label your this thing, because it can be confusing if you not label it. So here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when you are done with this, the next thing you just do to take our side, make our side that come down 2 inches from the bust line, then connect it to the bust point. So this is everything about corset. Corset. Yes, so this is the number 1 method. This is the first method. The second method too is the same with this drafting. The difference between the two is the seam. The seam is different. So I'll cut it out now. Okay, so before I cut it out, don't forget anything you are taking out will return back. You return it back. So now I want to add my 2 inches allowance. So this is where you are cutting the waist part of the 2 inches or 1.5 inches, depending on.
People that are raised for that too, because it's in that too.
Yes. You must not forget to label your stem. Then you now cut the curve. So I'll adjust my curve because of the size that I adjusted. So drafting of course requires paper. Not just go straight to. So this is, but we are not done. So yeah. So here is after you have two of this. You have this. You have this on each side. So now to the string part, I said I will use this one for the first and second method. I'll use this same paper for the first and second method. So I want to label this one. One thing. Okay, so now we are done with the drafting of the corset. So we want to do the method 1 and method 2 now. So I will use, where's my extra paper? So I'll use this one for the method 1, the first method. So now this is my bust point, because I still need the bust point. So for this one I'll need my bust point. So what I will now do for the first method is at the armhole side, at the center front side, the 1 and 3 side, you come down by 1 inch from the bust point. Come down by 1 inch. So you mark it. Then you make your curve to the bust point. Then for the armhole side, instead of coming down at the bust point, you go up at the bust point. Do you understand? Or same 1 inch. I want to use tape to hold it together so that you see what I'm doing. So at the center front, you come down by 1 inch. At the armhole side, you go up by 1 inch at the bust point. This is the bust. This is our bust line. So your line will be like this, like a diagonal line going up. Do you understand? So now we cut. then you cut to the tip of the bust point. You cut the 1 inch away. Then for this one, same thing. So you now tape this one together. Then you tape 3 and 4 together. I mean, you not tape 3 and 4. So you have 3 pieces for the first method. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So it's only 1 and 2 you tape together. Then you add your 0.5 allowance at the top. This one you add a 0.5 allowance round. 0.5 allowance round. So this is the first method. I'll show you when I'm cutting with fabric. So the second method, this one is simple. The only thing we are doing, this is how it will be for the second method. The way we cut it out before is just how it will be. These 2 pieces. So this one will now be for the lining. When you are cutting the lining, this is what we use to cut the lining. What you drafted out, what you drafted out exactly is what we use to cut the lining for this method. So you add 0.5 allowance round on the lining, 0.5 allowance round on the lining. So now you now cut another one that will be for the main fabric. So the other one you are now cutting depends on what you are using. If you are using if you are using homemade wrapper or you are using ready-made cup. So if you are using homemade wrapper, you extend this part, the upper part here, you extend it by 0.75. But if you are using ready-made wrapper, you just extend it by 0.5 to the front. If you are using homemade wrapper, I said this one will be for lining. The other one that we are cutting now will be for the fabric. So if you are using homemade wrapper is thick because you are using 1 inch foam. So it's thick. So you extend it by 0.75. But if you are using ready-made, you just extend it by 0.5 inch at the front. Then at the down part, at the upper part and at the down part, 0.5 inches. Then all other parts will remain the same. So we are just extending this so that you have a space to sit inside. Sorry, I forgot 0.5. Excluding the puff parts, you will not add anything to the puff parts. So this will not be for our main fabric. So you label its main fabric lining. So the difference is